Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. OP's manager from our first story is awesome. That's exactly how to deal with nutty idiots like that. Here we go. Your employee is unhelpful. I work at a veterinarian hospital that's situated a 2-minute walk away from the local grocery store. When I take a 10-minute break, I usually ask people if they want anything. My favorite thing to happen is when we need something for the hospital, as I get paid to grab my drinks and snacks, and then I get to take my full 10-minute break. So a week ago, I get asked if I can grab some easy cheese when I go to the grocery store. There wasn't any issue finding the easy cheese, and I grabbed some Slim Jims for me and my work wife as a Coke and cradle my bounty in my arms and make my way to the register. I hear someone ask, "You work here?" come from in front of me and ignore it because I'm wearing green scrubs with a clearly visible radiology badge and a name tag with certified veterinary technician in bold below my name. But suddenly, something grabs my left arm and I nearly drop the cans of fake cheese. "Where's the barbecue equipment?" a woman hisses at me as I see an old woman bundled up in a black fluffy coat and sunglasses that cover half of her face as she loosens her grip on my arm. I'm stunned for just long enough for both of us to speak at the same time. "Don't know, don't work here," I say over her. "Well," she scowls as she glances at my bounty and seems to realize that the name tag doesn't have the name of the store spelled out and my job isn't pharmacist or whatever. She huffs and leaves, and I quickly check out, assuming that's the last I'll ever see or hear of her again. When I get back, I put away the easy cheese and take my 10 as I enjoy a Slim Jim and read some comics. I'm a little confused and worried when I go to clock in as some of my coworkers are staring at the camera, a little worried there's an emergency. I check it out and see the lady in the front lobby with her buggy blocking the door, holding her massive amount of one grocery bag. She seems rather aggressive as she's talking to the hospital manager. I asked what's going on, and they said she came in about a minute ago and demanded to talk to a manager. After standing around for a minute, wondering what they're talking about, she leaves, finally letting in a tech appointment with her cat. My manager comes back confused and asks what happened, and I told her that the woman grabbed me and asked me where something was, and I told her I didn't work there and didn't know. Manager tells me the old woman said I was very rude to her and yelled at her and was unhelpful and that she should hire or train people to be more helpful and fire me. She said she told the woman that doesn't sound like me as I've never raised my voice at work, that they don't work for the grocery store or are cross-trained with the grocery store, therefore do not need to help with customers of a different establishment, and tried multiple times to get the woman to move her buggy. Good Lord. Not only did she embarrass herself by acting like that to a non-employee at a grocery store, but then she doubled down on it and followed you to your place of business to complain. Do these people feel no embarrassment at all for their actions? Like, that was really stupid on the Karen's part. And our second story. Inconsiderate neighbors think I'll shovel their snow. I share a driveway with a very stupid neighbor who sometimes blocks my garage and it pisses me off. So we got our first snowstorm today, and since I have a 3-car garage and they have none, I got space to put extra crap like a snowblower and my motorcycle, tools, and whatnot. It's a huge driveway, so since I got the snowblower, they thought I was going to remove snow blocking their vehicles. So I had some homework due today since class was canceled, and I finished it up and went out to remove the snow. Also in mind, my car is lowered and I have summer tires, so the plan was to remove the summer tires, raise my car, and install my winter tires in a snowstorm. Bad idea. But I couldn't do it earlier because my weekend got ruined. So I get out and I see my neighbor shoveling snow out of their car, but they're only removing snow from their cars and not around it. Put in mind, there's about a foot or more of snow on the ground. I removed the snowblower, and about 15 minutes after I took it out, the neighbors went inside to be cozy and warm without shoveling their cars, assuming that my big bad MF snowblower would save their day. Oh, were they wrong. So I start moving the bullcrap snow with the snowblower, and it works like a charm. This MF is huge, I think 32 inches, 14 horsepower, eating that BS up, pulling me around like I'm a cartoon figure. I move snow to the furthest right because their cars are to the left. I keep that beast moving, gobbling up the snow, And soon enough, another one of the neighbors comes in, and this guy's waiting for me to plow so he can move in his car. I looked at him, laughed, and turned off the snowblower because I had to shovel snow by hand now because the snowblower doesn't get everything. Once the neighbor saw that, he parked his car on the street and got a shovel to try and act like he was going to shovel. But I wasn't born last week, so I ignored him because I knew he wanted me to either shovel his side or give him the snowblower. He eventually left his car on the street and joined the gang in being warm and cozy, thinking Big Papa over here will handle their responsibilities. Well, eventually I managed to remove all the snow that would help get my vehicles out. Moving all that snow to my property and avoiding to touch their side at all, I did a bulk of the work that made their shoveling easier, but they'd still have to shovel to get their cars out. And I know they're all front-wheel drive cars with crappy tires. They won't go anywhere without shoveling. So I finished shoveling and raising my car and switching the tires by 6:30 p.m. after starting at 1 p.m. No rest, no time to warm up or anything, just straight suffering, but I was done. I was hungry and went to wash up and ordered a pizza because I was so hungry I could eat a horse if it ran by in the snowstorm. I went upstairs after putting everything away, and when it was time to get my pizza because I couldn't wait 1 hour for delivery, I now see my neighbors with their terrible shovels removing snow. It's not very dark, and they look at me like animals looking to get adopted in a shelter while I drove by with my winter tires, driveway clean, and I'm hungry as hell. I picked up my pizza and reversed in, something I wouldn't have been able to do without my winter tires, and I see them trying to trigger my solar lights so that they can see because they're too cheap to turn on their lights. I get my pizza and go stuff my face, and now I hear them shoveling 3 hours after I was done, and now I'm warm and cozy while they're suffering, and will be suffering for a few more hours while I watch TV. In the movie that plays in my head, I see you from his perspective, passing him in slow-mo, flipping him off with some cool, badass music in the background. And our last story. Fired for browsing Reddit. So on Friday, my boss calls me into his office near the end of the day. He proceeds to tell me that he has noticed me on my phone using unauthorized social media. He said that work is not the place to be openly viewing trash content while in the workplace. I was taken aback and didn't know what to say. I asked him what he means by unauthorized social media, what he deems to be authorized. He said that Reddit is not permitted as it contains porn. I literally laughed and said, "Really? I was in a cryptocurrency chat room, nothing to do with porn. And what you do in your spare time on Reddit doesn't mean everyone does." He didn't like that answer and told me that I just earned a suspension and should remain at home till further notice. He then handed me a written warning for abusing company policy with regards to use of social media. Of course, I rejected accepting the letter and he wanted me to sign it, which I said I would not. I then left. One of my coworkers said to me that after I left, he told everyone that I was suspended because I was using unauthorized social media in the workplace and that he will fire me when I come back. I double-checked the company policies, and the only thing it says about use of social media is that it's not permitted on company equipment. Nothing about your personal phone. I don't think he has a leg to stand on, and I'm going to contact a labor lawyer on Monday. I was on my personal time in an official break area. I'm going to effing sue this MF for wrongful termination, harassment, and discussing my situation with my coworkers. Update. I'm now fired. It's what I was expecting, as some of my coworkers gave me the heads up over the weekend, so I was prepared heading into work today. I met with a lawyer yesterday, and he was very prepared for what was going to happen today and how to present myself, but I was still a bit shocked. When I came in, the receptionist greeted me and told me that my boss would like to see me and to just wait at reception. She then rang him that I was there. I was directed into one of our meeting rooms where my boss, coworker, and 2 security guards were waiting. Sitting on the table was 2 boxes and a file. I was told to take a seat. For the next 20 minutes, I was berated with insults and lame reasons, most of which revolves around the fact that I was on Reddit, which is a banned website. I was told not to argue or give any kind of pushback, but not to sign anything. So after 20 minutes of hearing why I was being fired, I was handed a piece of paper and told to sign it, which I thanked him for, took and folded it up nicely and placed it into my jacket pocket. My boss repeated that he needed me to sign it, in which I told him I would not be signing anything on advice of my lawyer, which seemed to stun him when I told him that, LOL. I then thanked him for my last 5 years and tried to offer up a flash drive with some work on it, which he rejected before I could even finish talking. He then proceeded to ask the 2 security guards to escort me out of the building and told me that inside the 2 boxes was my personal items from my work area. I tried again to speak before getting up, and he cut me off as I was trying to tell him about the project I was working on, and he said to me that maybe it's best that my lawyer will do the talking to their lawyer. I stood up and went into my wallet and took a card out, dropped it on the table. He said, "What's this?" I said, "It's my lawyer's contact info. He wanted to make sure you had it." The last words that he said to me as I walked out the doors was that if I wanted to make things messy, then he will make it 100 times harder on me, so don't expect my last check anytime soon. Thank goodness I live in a country that has solid pro-worker labor laws, Canada, because these guys effed up trying to screw me over, and in doing so, they just got royally screwed. A little background on that flash drive I was trying to offer up. It contained my crucial updated programming files for their top client. Ever since COVID, we've been doing most of our work from home. Just had to come in a few times a week most recently. Most of the updates of my project were supposed to be stored on my drive, but I didn't like taking it to and from work, so I just updated every so often. This was normal practice for all of us, including my boss, so last week on the Friday I was sent home, I logged into my HD to look, and I changed 2 files so it looks to my dumb boss that I did my monthly updates last Friday, but really I didn't. I was going to do them this Friday, so they have an outdated and flawed version that'll have many issues, and unless they hire someone in the next couple of days, I don't think they'll notice this issue till it's too late, as we completed most of our beta testing already, and deadline from our client is in 2 weeks. So, kind of feels good knowing that I got the last laugh. I told everything to my lawyer. He also has possession of the drive. Looks like I have a bit of spare time on my hands. We'll start my job search next week. I already know my old company will hire me back, so not too worried. I just can't wait to take these effers through the ringer. My lawyer says that I have a rock-solid case. Your manager was scared and is apparently an idiot. Him saying that in front of witnesses will result in larger judgments if checks delayed in any way. I especially like the OP's response. What you do in your spare time on Reddit doesn't mean everyone does. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.